Hey guys, and welcome to Rain Marginal. This is a game that is made by the same people that made Narcissu and Narcissu 2. So since I finished those two games, I decided why not do their their newest visual novel. So let's just start and yeah, get into this because this looks really pretty. Prologue. Oh, I have to click on it. Okay. Rain. Falling from the white sky, small drops of water. Raindrops. The sky had, for all this time, never once cleared. The sun during the day, the moon at night, neither had ever shown their faces. Yesterday, a few days before, a few years before, it had always been rainy. And surely tomorrow, the day after, a year later, it will also be rainy. Something that would never stop. An endless rain. Stage Nana, 2010 to 2014. In the midst of that, I put my feet into the river like I always did. It wasn't particularly cold. The water only came up to my ankles or knees. And so there was no chance of drowning. Even if you drowned, you wouldn't die from it. And this flow? There wasn't a place where it started, nor was there a shore downriver. In all directions, it was all horizons. It was a river with no end. My aim was far downriver. My destination was there. Before, getting to that place would take many, many years, but now I could reach it in an instant. Soon I reached my destination. In the middle of the river, a large pit opened. Making a roaring sound, it swallowed the things that had wandered into this world. Most likely, it was there to return things to the real world. I think this place was the exit from this world. I had no proof. Sadly, there was no way to find out, and I had long lost the will to try. However, only this place was. It was the one place in this world that connected to the outside world. Oh, this has voices! That's awesome. That person, he seems to be doing well. Visible faintly within the hole was the image of that person. It seems he had lost his memory of this place and had returned to his daily life without trouble. Even if he were to forget about me, to me, he was the only proof of my existence I could leave in the real world, much better than leaving only tears. Just like this endless rain, let this memory be my nourishment for eternity. Oh, this is sad already! Oh! Monday. Burning sunlight and the voices of cicadas. Even though it was early morning, the sky after the end of the rainy season was almost tragically clear. Today was Monday. The time was 5:47 a.m. and 20 seconds. The beginning of the most depressing day of the week. I had long hated Mondays, and that remains unchanged even after becoming a working adult. That was why every Monday I went to the office earlier than anybody else, every week. Inside the swaying train car, as it started getting hot, I headed to the office on the first train of the day. Even though it was before 6, it already seemed like it was going to be another midsummer day, going against my feelings. Getting off the train and walking along a typical station front street for 5 minutes, I could see a mixed-used building. After I arrived, I got in the elevator. The company I work for is on the 4th floor. As the heavy doors closed, I pressed the button for my destination. I pressed the button for the 7th floor. Boop. My destination wasn't the 4th floor of my workplace, but the highest floor. A strong wind blew on the bare rooftop. The morning air was a bit chilling. On the other side of the high precautionary fence was a perfectly clear summer sky from the end of the rainy season. Despite it being early morning, I was soaked in sweat. Well, shall we go? Saying that to myself, I started walking towards the edge of the roof. That's right. No matter how much you ran, jumped, or rolled here, you would never fall from the roof. You could call it a safe zone. A fence that prevented falling, prevented suicide, devoted itself to defending against that, saying, "I won't let you die." However, as if defying that fence's service, I put my hands on that metal wire and climbed. I finished climbing the fence, accompanied by its rattling sound, and put my feet on the mere 30 centimeters worth of space on the other side. Obviously, this meant that there was nothing in my way. At this point, I was no longer within the safe zone. Forget about running. If I so much as lost my balance slightly, I would easily fall to the ground. If I jumped from here, I'd probably... No, I'd definitely die. Falling from the 7th floor, it was only natural to die. Anyone who could survive that could only be counted as lucky. Sadly, my luck was only that of an average person. So, well, it was almost certain that I'd die. Just one more step, simply stepping forward. With just that, everything would end. The job I hated, the depressing Monday, I'd be free of them. But I couldn't do it. The reason being, it wasn't as if I wanted to die. Then I should turn right around and return to the safety within the fence, right? But there too was hesitation. Because even though I did not want to die, I also did not want to live. It'd be wrong to say they were the same. To want to die and to not want to live, they were not the same. Similar, but not equal. Even if I were tired of living, I hadn't yet lived long enough to want to die. It was simply that there were mostly painful things, sad things, and living had become stained with disaster. While I was a student, things were still fine. Even if there were bad things or painful things, I could see what the cause was. No matter how much it bothered me, if I knew the cause, then I just had to overcome it. Even if I couldn't overcome it, there was hope. Maybe someday, I could even look forward. But now that I was an adult, things were different. There weren't clear causes or reasons. There were too many things where no one or nothing was at fault. I learned that this world, that reality, was full of things that can't be helped. Those small pains would, like body blows in boxing, slowly, steadily build up. I guess it's enough. With a light exhale, I once again started climbing the fence. I looked at my watch. It was 6:50 a.m., around the time that people would start coming. Without wanting to die, but climbing the fence like this, an observer would probably think that it were a meaningless act. However, to me, there was a little bit of meaning. To put it in words, it was insurance for the heart. If I came here wanting to die, I could do it any time. But a way to reconfirm that, and a way to maintain my heart's peace. It was a ritual to let out the damage accumulated from the numerous body blows during the day, before I was knocked out. Done on the dreariest day, Monday, using every trick I knew, this was how I managed to keep on living. More than likely, I'd keep on living like this for a long time. One day, someone will do something about it, and if they can't, then they can kill me right now. I knew that this kind of thinking was a sweet illusion that only kids were allowed to have, but even so, I somehow found myself being passive. As I became an adult, the real world became more and more hollow. As I gained experience points, becoming used to things and numbness killed the freshness and strong emotions. Originally, time was supposed to be fair to all, but it was getting thinner. I'm not really sure myself. Whether this was a wish or a complaint, a prayer or a curse, I wasn't even sure who these words were directed to. There was just one thing that was clear. As you can see, I'm a fool. Alright, so let's go to this one first, the elevator. Tuesday, day 1. The next day, while rubbing my sleepy eyes, I headed to the office. Inside the train, there was just a fan that stirred around the warm air. With every station, the sweat on my back would stick to my dress shirt. Oh well. While holding onto to a swaying handle, I reflexively loosened my necktie. The sun was burning hot today too. From the heat in the morning, it looked to be the most summery day of the year. All day today was supposed to be going around, I was supposed to be going around and making sales. With another sigh, I headed to the office. No matter how depressing it was, there was no other alternative if it was work. The building's elevator lobby, I waited there for a while. It was around business opening time, so a fair number of people were around. Even if it meant missing one elevator, I wanted to get on one alone. Because at the start of the day, being trapped with a manager or coworker and forced to put on a polite smile was tiring. While thinking about that, I waited for the elevator.
なるほどね。
I see. There was a young woman I didn't recognize. For some reason, she was peering intently at my face.
悪くないか。優しいとこ。
Well, not bad. And seems to have a nice side too. While saying that to herself, she quickly went off someplace. Maybe she mistook me for someone else? Or maybe she had been talking to someone on a cell phone. Well, whatever, I should hurry up. Wasting time like this. I didn't want to meet any coworkers this early. In moments, the elevator arrived. I got on alone and looked at the panel of buttons. Of course, today I wasn't heading to the 7th floor. As if perfectly natural, I reached for this 4th floor button. There, I noticed something strange. Huh? 8th floor? There was a button for a floor I had never seen before. This building only had 7 floors, so there shouldn't be a button for an 8th. I had written this numerous times, so there was no mistake. Plus, I had gone to that highest 7th floor every Monday, so I knew that a higher floor didn't exist. Maybe I made a mistake and came to the wrong building? That was also impossible. The thought flashed through my mind, but I quickly dismissed it. If anything, the inside of the elevator was very familiar. Since graduating and joining this company, I had used it for 3 years. There was no way I could be mistaken. And even if they were constructing an 8th floor, I'd just been to the roof yesterday. They couldn't have done such a thing in just one day. Then just what does this mean? Even while thinking that this was an odd tale, I slowly pressed the button for the 8th floor. As the elevator rose, I had a number of thoughts. Maybe this is some kind of prank? I couldn't see the reasoning behind it, but if that were true, it was a pretty involved prank. But then, if that weren't true, somewhere in my heart, I felt anticipation for something. Rain? The first thing I could hear was the sound of rain. The first thing I could see was just whiteness. More importantly, just where was this? I had thought for a moment that I was on the roof, but that was impossible. Just before, I'd been under a blazing summer sky. All I could see were white sky and flagstones, and thanks to the haze from the rain, I couldn't see very far, even though I had just gotten on the elevator to my office. Wait, the elevator's... I realized there. I turned around. The elevator I just exited had disappeared. Reflexively, I looked around the area, but the same scene spread before me everywhere. Even when I strained my eyes, peering beyond the rain haze, all I could see was a faint to white horizon. I have no idea. Already, this was beyond the realm of my comprehension. No, not just me personally. Anyone in this situation would be the same. I tried to think as calmly as I could, as realistically and objectively as possible. There were only 2 things I could think of. This is a dream. But it felt too real to be a dream. The scene in front of me, the feel of the rain on my skin, then perhaps this is the afterlife? But even assuming that this was the afterlife, I had absolutely no memory of when I died. But maybe that was just how it worked. I had certainly stepped into the elevator, so there was the chance I had an accident there. maybe this was how it feels to die before you realized it. But, well, I don't really mind that. Even assuming this was the afterlife, that's how I felt. It wasn't as if I wanted to die, but living had also been painful. Deliver me from that, please. Or if you couldn't, then kill me now. That was something I'd kept saying to myself every Monday. Looking up, I saw that pure white sky. It was unchanging, giving no indication that it would ever stop. It wasn't a downpour so much as a drizzle, but being in it constantly soaked me. At the least, let's go find a place to get out of the rain. I still had no idea where this was, but there was no point staying still. Taking off my tightly tied necktie, I began to walk in the rainy haze. So for a while, exactly how long I didn't know, I continued to walk around the area. However, the same scenery just continued on without any change. Everywhere I went, the old flagstones continued. I couldn't see anything that resembled structure. And of course, no signs of people. No, not just people. There weren't any signs of living, moving things at all. When I casually looked at my watch, it stopped. For some reason, my watch had stopped. The hands continued to denote that it was still 6:40 a.m. That was the time I had gotten to the elevator. I checked when I first got on, so there was no mistaking it. And this also, just what did it mean? While thinking that, I walked forward. It didn't seem like I would come up with an answer, and standing around wouldn't help. And even though I was getting soaked in the rain, it wasn't particularly cold, but to be constantly rained on was more of a psychological strain than I imagined. Eventually, after walking for a while, it was so far away, or it was so far, so I couldn't tell clearly, but I could see something through the rain haze. At least from the time I'd started walking up to now, it was the first time I'd seen something that could be called a structure. Well, let's head over there then. There might be some kind of hint there, or there might even be someone else. Just as I was thinking that was the time.
こんにちは。
Hello? Oh, she's cute! Being spoken to all of a sudden, I spun around to find an unfamiliar little girl. She was facing me, looking a little embarrassed. Who are you?
私はリンって呼んでくださいね。
I'm Rin. Please call me Rin. Cheerfully, Rin, or whatever, bowed her head. She seemed quite young, around elementary school age perhaps. She didn't seem all that surprised at me. In fact, she seemed like a child, but she was somehow extremely calm. It felt like she was used to this mysterious place, but I couldn't help wondering why she was wearing just one shoe with her other foot left bare. Her appearance was such a disconnect from this place. It made things feel even more unsettling.
おそらくですけど、ここ来たばかりですよね。
I'm just guessing, but you've just arrived, right? Huh? Yeah, that's right. Hold on. More importantly, what is this place?
それを説明するのはちょっと長くなるかな。
Explaining that would take a while. Take a while? Explain?
とりあえずは雨に濡れるからこっち来てください。
For now, since we'll get wet, please come here. Hey! As if she didn't hear my voice, she ran off while making splashing sounds. I have no idea what she was. I stared at her back, wondering if I should be going with her, while at the same time...
早く来ないと濡れちゃいますよ。
Hey! If you don't hurry, you're going to get soaked! Turning around, the girl... No, I believe she said Ren, energetically called to me. I didn't really feel any evil intent from her, even if there were tons of unanswered questions and doubts. Nothing could be done just standing here. Coming to that decision, I followed after her. I walked behind her until we arrived in front of a large building. Apparently, I'd seen it from quite a distance, There were a number of stone columns, and in the middle was a thing that looked like a bench. Despite there having been no man-made things, or anything other than the aged flagstones up until now, to see the fragments of modern civilization in just this spot was also very odd.
冷たかった。
That was cold! Brushing off the rain, clinging to her, she stood next to the old bench and bus stop signs. Apparently, only this place had bits of civilization and some small traces of someone living here.
忘れてた。洗濯物を干しっぱなしだった。
I forgot I left the laundry out to dry! Saying that, she hurriedly went to grab the laundry-like clothing. There was a rope skillfully strung between the two bus stop signs. Apparently, she'd been drying clothes there.
だしたら、なんでこんな時に限って下着まで干してたの。
Dear me! Why is it only at a time like this that I have to hang out my underwear? She blushed heavily at the uncharacteristically flashy underwear, and looking closer, there seemed to be things resembling books of manga beyond her. Why did this one spot have pieces of modern life? But I am all out of time for this episode, guys, so if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!